Morning, kiddos. It's Mr. B, and today is Monday, May 3rd, and this is the How to Art for Week 8, Trimester 3. Just in context, this is what the music sounds like this week. Now, a few of those tracks, namely these two tracks, are solo tracks you're going to be adding on your own. The drum part is just mirroring the metronome to give us some reference. But what we're really playing with this week is sort of a geometric understanding in the relationship of intervals between the minor third interval and the major third interval, which we discovered in our exploration recently within the context of the Coltrane pentatonics, that often there's this trade between majors and minors and other things being suspended. In this case, this week, the seconds, sevenths, perfect fourth, and perfect fifth, all being suspended in favor of playing a tritone against the tonic. So here's the initial four that we're playing. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that relates to this pattern in the art. And then what we're adding, just so you see the relationship with the art, is we're adding an oboe part, and that is representing these two notes, the D sharp and the B. We're not repeating the playing of the G in this case. We're simply adding the D sharp and the B. So now you see the context of how the music fits in this week with the art. This is ultimately the art in its finished state, and now I'll go through the how-to drawing of it. Alrighty. So at the top of your page, you're going to have week 8, and this is trimester 3. And I'm calling this Hello Sol, a sun salutation. All right, and this is ultimately a graphic organizer that you are drawing for yourself, so it should be by yourself. That's where your name goes this week. And this is your art for period, whatever period you're in, and I typically write period 5 there. And then this week, maybe put a little box around them. Bam. All right, now we're going to need room to make 2 smaller and 1 larger circle today, pitch class spaces. So we're going to have one over here to our left and one over here, hopefully proportionally symmetrically to the right, and then a larger version down at the bottom. Looks like an old base cabinet I used to have. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and subdivide each of these sections. And we should get a clock sort of relationship. Bam. And now we're going to go ahead and make sure that we label all of our related tones. This week, our work is centered around G. So G is where we're going to start everything. G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp. Again, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp. And then G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F sharp. There we go. This one up here I would refer to as, let's call it tetratonic for our in-house nomenclature. And we're intentionally staying away from other terms because you may choose to go on further in your exploration, and that's fine. But this is trying to keep things in more of a graphic, logos sort of place, not necessarily a language space, right? Not so much cognitive, but more visual, right? So here are the notes that are getting played in the tetratonic. We're playing the G, an E, a C sharp, and the A sharp. And on the Trini, or the 3, we're not actually playing the G, but we're going to play the D sharp, and we're going to play the B sharp, B rather. We're carrying that G over from here. We're borrowing it in the other part. And so in a case, here we have a minor thirds, and that's the piano. And then over here, we have the oboe doing the major thirds. Just verify that I'm not remembering things incorrect. Nope, correct. And you would think that in adding up a 4 and a 3, we would end up with some sort of 7. Well, we don't. There's an interesting phenomenon that kind of occurs. It's not really a phenomenon, it's just sort of a coincidence, that no matter what, however you try to place a 4 on a 3, in a musical sense, you will always have at least one corner that is connected. There's always going to be one note that is adjoining. So you can't escape some form of union between the major third, a series of major thirds, and a series of minor thirds. At some point, they must converge again at the same note. And so here we're drawing the 4 onto a larger shared pitch class space. And again, these both look really nice and symmetrical, right? Make it look prettier there. Nice and symmetrical. But then you add and you realize, no, while it still has bilateral symmetry, still is going on. Now we've lost that rhythm in a sense, and it does create a directionality. It creates a sort of handedness to it. And that is part of what creates the sound of this structure. We would, by historically now, call this our giant steps in our internal nomenclature, giant. We would call this our halves. There's little half steps in there. And these would be whole steps by our previous conversations regarding modes. And this would be really, the result is a hexatonic, sextatonic mode. And if we were to look at it in terms of our previous structures, we still see that symmetry in it. All right? And we want to make sure that before we leave the art, we really understand what's happening here again. Up top, we have a minor second, we have our major second, and then we are here at our minor third. And this would again be our minor second, this would be our major second, this would be a minor third, and this gives us a major third. This being the start of the whole show, our 1, this is our tonic. This remains our minor second. This becomes still major second. So here is our minor third. Here is our major third. And that gets included here as one of our notes, certainly, that we're playing. We are not playing the perfect fourth. We are playing the tritone, which is certainly unique. We are not playing the perfect fifth. It is left out. That is unique. We're playing the minor sixth. That's that D sharp. We're playing the major sixth. We are not playing a minor seventh. We are not playing a major seventh. So you could say that both the seconds have been suspended, the sevenths have been suspended, the perfect fourth, the perfect fifth, all are out of the equation. We are purely looking at these particular harmonic relationships. And again, we could move that around. We could move that shape around in a multiple ways. But that is the art for this week, week 8. Again, this will not post until Tuesday, May the 4th, and it will not be due until next week, Monday, May the 10th.